They say you are what you eat, but after 60, that truth becomes deadly, because shocking new research from Harvard and the Journal of Gerontology revealed that just 7 common foods, foods most seniors eat every single week, are silently stealing years from your life. These foods accelerate aging, weaken your heart, and even trigger memory decline, without you ever noticing the damage. But here's the good news. Japanese elders, who outlive nearly everyone on Earth, avoid these exact foods and replace them with simple, everyday alternatives that keep their bodies strong and their minds sharp well into their 90s. And today, you're about to discover all 7 dangerous foods to cut out and the simple swaps that could add precious years to your life. Imagine this: Rose, a 67-year-old grandmother from Ohio, always believed she was eating healthy. Whole wheat bread, low-fat yogurt, canned vegetable soup, foods recommended by magazines and even her family doctor. Yet at her last checkup, her cholesterol was climbing, her joints ached every morning, and her memory slips were becoming too frequent to ignore. Her story isn't unique. Millions of seniors over 60 are unknowingly sabotaging their health with foods they've trusted for decades. The truth is, certain everyday items quietly rob your body of energy, accelerate aging, and can even shave years off your lifespan. Harvard researchers recently reviewed diets of adults over 60 and found that 7 specific foods were strongly linked to faster cognitive decline, weaker bones, and higher risk of heart disease. These weren't exotic junk foods, they were staples found in almost every American kitchen. And the scariest part, these foods don't make you feel sick right away. Instead, they work silently in the background, damaging cells little by little until the warning signs, memory loss, fatigue, brittle bones, become impossible to ignore. Let's uncover the first 2 of these silent killers so you know exactly what to watch out for. 1. Processed meats, the aging accelerator. Think of bacon at breakfast, hot dogs at barbecues, or deli meats stacked in a sandwich. For decades, these foods have been part of daily life. But a 2021 Journal of Nutrition study found that seniors who ate processed meats more than 3 times a week had a 52% higher risk of cardiovascular disease compared to those who rarely ate them. Why are they so dangerous? Nitrates and nitrites. These preservatives turn into harmful compounds in the body that damage blood vessels and increase inflammation. Excess sodium, high salt levels raise blood pressure, straining the heart and kidneys. Hidden fats. Processed meats often contain saturated fats that accelerate plaque buildup in arteries. Rose's doctor once told her to eat more protein. She chose deli turkey, thinking it was lean, but within a few years, her blood pressure had spiked. She later learned that Japanese elders rarely consume processed meats. Instead, they favor fresh fish or tofu, foods shown to lower inflammation and extend life expectancy. Simple swap. Replace processed meats with grilled salmon, sardines, or lentils. These foods not only protect the heart, but also provide omega-3s that support memory. 2. Sugary breakfast cereals. The brain's worst enemy. Cereal companies market their products with words like whole grain and fortified with vitamins. But for seniors, these colorful boxes can be poison for the brain. A large 2020 Harvard study linked diets high in refined cereals and added sugars to a 68% greater risk of type 2 diabetes in adults over 60. And diabetes isn't just about blood sugar. It's directly tied to faster memory loss and dementia risk. Here's why. Refined grains cause blood sugar spikes, followed by crashes that sap energy and damage insulin response. Added sugars fuel inflammation, a key driver of Alzheimer's disease. Lack of protein and fiber leaves you hungry sooner, causing overeating and weight gain. George, a 72-year-old retired teacher, used to start every morning with a healthy brand cereal. He thought he was doing his body good, but over time his waistline expanded and his memory tests showed early signs of decline. When his nutritionist swapped his cereal for oatmeal topped with nuts and blueberries, George's blood sugar stabilized, and within 6 months, his focus noticeably improved. Simple swap. Replace sugary cereal with steel. Cut oats, chia pudding, or even eggs with vegetables. These options provide steady energy and nutrients that protect the brain. One reason seniors keep eating these dangerous foods is because food companies deliberately market them as healthy. Words like low, fat, fortified, multigrain, heart healthy are often printed boldly on packaging. But these claims hide the fact that the foods inside are heavily processed. Stanford researchers call this the health halo effect, the false belief that a food must be good for you because of one positive claim, even if the overall product is harmful. For example, yogurt might be low fat, but loaded with 20 grams of sugar per serving. Japanese elders rarely face this problem because their diets rely more on fresh, whole foods than packaged products. Fish from local markets, fresh vegetables, fermented soy, and rice form their foundation. That's one reason they continue walking, gardening, and staying mentally sharp into their 80s and 90s. After 60, the body processes foods differently. Slower metabolism means extra sugar and fat stick longer. Weaker kidneys struggle to handle excess salt. Decreasing muscle mass makes protein quality more important. Brain vulnerability increases with every inflammatory spike from bad food. That's why foods that may have been fine at 40 or 50 suddenly become dangerous at 60 plus. It's not about fear, it's about understanding your body's changing needs. Here's the hopeful part. Studies show it only takes a few weeks of removing these dangerous foods and replacing them with healthier options to notice a difference. Lower blood pressure, sharper memory, stronger joints, more energy. When Rose swapped her deli turkey for salmon and replaced her boxed cereal with oats, she dropped 12 pounds in 3 months. Her cholesterol returned to healthy levels, and she said she felt 10 years younger. And she's not alone. In Okinawa, Japan, home to the world's longest living women, seniors thrive by keeping their diets simple and clean. They avoid processed, packaged foods and rely on fresh staples that nourish both body and brain. Now you know the first two dangerous foods, processed meats and sugary cereals. But there are 5 more lurking in pantries, kitchens, and even so-called healthy restaurants across America. These foods might surprise you. They're often recommended for seniors but secretly drain energy, weaken bones, and shorten lifespan. And one of them is sitting in your refrigerator right now. Stay with me, because in the next chapter, we'll uncover dangerous food #3 and #4 and the life, saving swaps that could add years to your life. By now, you've seen how processed meats and sugary cereals quietly damage the heart and brain. But the truth runs deeper. Some of the most trusted foods for seniors, the ones sitting in millions of refrigerators right now, are silently chipping away at independence, energy, and years of life. And that's exactly what happened to Harold, a 74-year-old Vietnam veteran from Texas. He always followed doctor's orders, low-fat milk in his coffee, margarine instead of butter, and fruit juice for vitamins. Yet his last blood test shocked him. His bone density was dropping. His memory lapses were increasing. And his doctor warned him that he was now pre-diabetic. Harold thought he was eating healthy, but he had fallen into one of the most common traps facing people over 60, trusting foods that look helpful on the outside but are toxic on the inside. Let's expose the next 2 silent killers. 3. Low-fat dairy products, the bone thieves for decades. Ads told us to drink milk for strong bones, and many seniors still reach for low-fat or fat-free milk, yogurt, or cheese, believing they're doing the right thing. But shocking new research tells a different story. A 2020 Harvard Nurses' Health study tracked over 100 participants. Seniors who consumed mostly low-fat dairy had no reduction in fracture risk. In fact, some showed higher fracture rates than those who ate full-fat dairy or plant-based alternatives. Why? Removed fat equals removed nutrients. Many bone protective vitamins like A, D, and K2 are fat-soluble. Without fat, your body can't absorb them. Added sugars to make fat-free yogurt taste good. Companies loaded with sugar, fueling inflammation and insulin resistance. Protein loss. Processing strips away parts of the milk protein that support muscle maintenance. Harold's breakfast ritual was a bowl of fat-free yogurt with fruit, but hidden inside were 19 grams of sugar per serving. Over time, his blood sugar spiked daily, weakening his bones and leaving him exhausted by afternoon. Simple swap. Choose full-fat plain Greek yogurt, unsweetened almond milk, or kefir. These provide healthy fats, probiotics, and more bioavailable nutrients without the sugar crash. 4. Fruit juices. The vitamin in illusion orange juice at breakfast. Apple juice with lunch. It's fruit, so it must be healthy, right? Unfortunately, fruit juice is one of the most misleading healthy foods for seniors. A 2019 Journal of the American Medical Association study found that adults over 60 who drank 1 glass of fruit juice per day had a 24% higher risk of premature death compared to those who didn't. Here's why. Stripped of fiber, unlike whole fruit, juice delivers pure sugar straight into the bloodstream. Glucose spikes. These spikes accelerate aging by damaging blood vessels and nerves. Hunger rebound. Juice doesn't fill you up, so you eat more calories later. In Okinawa, Japan, centenarians enjoy fruit in moderation, but always in whole form, never as juice. The fiber slows sugar absorption and provides antioxidants that fight aging. Take the case of Linda, a 69-year-old retired nurse. She drank a glass of orange juice every morning for vitamin C, yet she developed pre-diabetes. When she swapped juice for green tea and whole oranges, her blood sugar stabilized and she felt more energetic throughout the day. Simple swap. Replace fruit juice with whole fruit, herbal teas, or water infused with lemon slices. You'll get the same vitamins, plus fiber and hydration, without the sugar overload. So why do so many seniors keep eating low-fat dairy and drinking juice? Because the food industry plays on two powerful beliefs. The calcium myth, that low-fat milk is essential for bone health. In reality, leafy greens, nuts, and fermented dairy like kefir are often more effective. The vitamin myth, that juice equals fruit. In reality, juice removes the very thing, fiber, that makes fruit healthy in the first place. These myths have been reinforced for decades by clever marketing, government guidelines, and even some doctors. But science now shows they do more harm than good, especially after 60, when the body is more sensitive to sugar spikes and nutrient deficiencies. Here's what makes these two foods especially dangerous. They don't just hurt one system. They trigger a domino effect. Low-fat dairy weakens bones, higher fracture risk, loss of mobility, faster decline in independence. Fruit juice spikes blood sugar, raises inflammation, accelerates memory loss, increases dementia risk. This is why seniors like Harold and Linda started noticing multiple issues at once. Weak bones, fatigue, memory slips. The root cause wasn't age, it was diet. Here's the uplifting truth. It's never too late to reverse the damage. When Harold switched from low-fat dairy to full-fat yogurt and leafy greens, his bone density improved within a year. When Linda ditched her daily orange juice for green tea, her memory and energy noticeably improved in just 3 months. These aren't miracles, they're simply the body responding to nourishment instead of sabotage. And that's the key lesson Japanese elders teach us. Aging well isn't about eating less or following strict diets. It's about making small, intentional swaps that protect the body and brain every single day. Now you know the dangers of low-fat dairy and fruit juices, but we're not done yet. 3 more foods remain, and they're some of the most common items seniors eat daily. One of them is sitting in nearly every American pantry. It's disguised as healthy, but researchers discovered it actually shortens lifespan by up to 10 years if eaten regularly. In the next chapter, we'll expose these final 3 foods and show you the exact alternatives Japanese elders used to stay vibrant and independent well into their 90s. By now, you've seen how processed meats, sugary cereals, low-fat dairy, and fruit juices slowly drain energy and vitality after 60. But there are still three more culprits, foods so common that most seniors eat them daily without a second thought. These final three are perhaps the most dangerous of all because they're often disguised as healthy. Let's uncover them one by one. 5. Refined vegetable oils, the hidden inflammation trap. For decades, we've been told that vegetable oils like corn, soybean, or canola are healthy alternatives to butter, but the science paints a much darker picture. A 2018 study from the Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors with high levels of omega-6 fats abundant in refined vegetable oils had a 62% higher risk of Alzheimer's disease. Why? Omega-6 overload. These oils are extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids, which cause chronic inflammation when not balanced with omega-3s. Toxic byproducts. When heated, vegetable oils release compounds linked to cancer and arterial damage. Stripped nutrients. Highly refined, they lack the natural antioxidants found in healthier oils. Take Joan, a 70-year-old retired librarian. She switched from butter to canola oil in her 50s, believing it would help her heart. Instead, her joint pain worsened, her memory slipped, and her cholesterol numbers went up. Only after replacing canola with extra virgin olive oil did her inflammation markers drop, and her arthritis pain noticeably eased. Simple swap. Replace vegetable oils with extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, or even grass-fed butter in moderation. These provide healthy fats that reduce inflammation and support brain health. 6. White bread and refined grains, the energy robbers. White bread, white rice, pasta, these are staples in many senior households. Soft, easy to chew, and often inexpensive, but they come at a steep cost. A 2019 study from the British Medical Journal followed over 130 0 adults. Those with diets highest in refined grains had a 27% higher risk of early death, especially from heart disease. Why refined grains are dangerous. Stripped of fiber. Without fiber, these foods spike blood sugar rapidly. Nutrient loss. Processing removes essential vitamins and minerals like magnesium and B vitamins. Weight gain. Refined carbs increase appetite, leading to overeating and belly fat, one of the biggest predictors of early mortality. Consider Frank, a 76-year-old grandfather. For breakfast, he had white toast, lunch, a white bread sandwich, dinner, pasta or white rice. His energy constantly crashed, forcing him into afternoon naps. When his daughter suggested whole grains and brown rice, Frank resisted at first, but after making the switch, his energy stabilized, his digestion improved, and he lost 8 pounds in 2 months. Simple swap. Replace white bread and rice with whole grains like oats, quinoa, or barley. In Japan, elders often eat brown rice or buckwheat noodles, rich in fiber and nutrients that keep blood sugar stable. 7. Packaged diet. Snacks, the longevity killers in disguise. This last food is perhaps the most deceptive of all. Packaged diet snacks, low-fat cookies, protein bars, sugar-free puddings seem like good choices for weight control, but in reality, they're chemical cocktails. A 2020 study from Cell Metabolism found that seniors who consumed artificial sweeteners daily had higher risks of obesity, insulin resistance, and memory decline, the very conditions these snacks claim to prevent. Here's the danger. Artificial sweeteners confuse the brain, increasing sugar cravings. Preservatives and additives burden the liver and kidneys. Empty calories leave the body undernourished despite eating. Mary, a 68-year-old widow, thought she was being good by snacking on sugar-free cookies. Yet her weight kept creeping up and her blood pressure climbed. Once she switched to nuts, fruit, and dark chocolate in moderation, her cravings calmed, her weight stabilized, and she felt satisfied for the first time in years. Simple swap. Replace diet snacks with whole, real foods, handfuls of walnuts, Greek yogurt with berries, or a square of dark chocolate. These nourish instead of deceive. Looking at these 7 foods together, a clear pattern emerges. They are all processed. They all remove something natural: fiber, fat, nutrients. They all add something artificial: sugar, chemicals, preservatives. In other words, they strip food of what makes it life, giving and replace it with what makes it profitable for companies, and seniors, trusting labels like low fat or heart healthy, become the easiest targets. Japanese elders, on the other hand, rarely fall for these traps because their diets remain centered on whole foods, rice, vegetables, fish, soy, and tea. That's why they live independently into their 90s, while many Western seniors are struggling by 70. Each of these 7 foods affects different parts of the body, but together they create a toxic cycle. Brain, sugars, refined oils, and diet snacks inflame the brain, accelerating memory loss. Heart, processed meats, refined grains, and vegetable oils damage arteries, raising heart attack risk. Bones and muscles, low fat dairy and lack of nutrients from refined foods weaken strength and mobility. The result, seniors age biologically much faster than their years. But the hopeful truth is this: removing these foods doesn't just stop the decline, it can actually reverse it. Rose Chapter 1 regained energy after ditching processed meats and cereal. Harold Chapter 2 improved his bones by leaving loaf at dairy behind. Joan Chapter 3 eased arthritis pain by switching oils. Mary Chapter 3 ended cravings by dropping diet snacks. These aren't isolated cases. They mirror what happens in entire populations like Okinawa, where elders live long, vibrant lives by avoiding processed foods altogether. Now that you know the 7 dangerous foods, the decision rests with you. Every meal is a choice between subtracting years from your life or adding them. Think of it this way: if one food can shorten your life by 5 or 10 years, replacing it can also extend your life by the same. It's not about giving up the joy of eating, it's about rediscovering the joy of eating foods that truly give life. In the final part of this journey, we'll tie everything together. You'll see how simple daily swaps, inspired by the wisdom of Japanese elders and backed by cutting-edge science, can not only protect your health, but also add joyful, independent years to your life. Because aging isn't something to fear, it's something to master. We've uncovered 7 everyday foods: processed meats, sugary cereals, low-fat dairy, fruit juices, vegetable oils, white bread, and diet snacks that silently steal years from seniors over 60. They raise blood pressure, weaken bones, cloud memory, and drain energy little by little. But here's the hopeful truth: the moment you remove them, your body begins to heal. Blood sugar steadies, memory sharpens, joints ache less, and energy returns. Research shows changes can start within just 30 days. The secret of the world's longest living elders in Japan isn't expensive supplements or strict diets. It's simple food choices: fresh fish instead of processed meats, oats instead of cereal, whole fruit instead of juice, olive oil instead of vegetable oils. These small swaps don't just fill your plate, they add years to your life. At 60, 70, or even 80, it's never too late. Every meal is a choice between decline or vitality, weakness or independence. The power is in your hands, so ask yourself, which of these 7 foods will you cut out first? Hit like, subscribe, and share your answer in the comments. We're reading every one. And stay tuned, because next time we'll reveal 5 daily habits of Japanese elders that keep them sharp and strong well into their 90s.